Correction is easier when you're connected to the person. Wait, have you ever been in that situation where you corrected someone and the person stopped talking to you, or the person distanced himself from you? That is how correction, when not done effectively, can cause a distance between you and your child. So in today's video, we're talking about how to discipline your child from the age of 0 to 6, having the knowledge of temperament in view. Was I fast? Let me repeat it. So we're talking about how to discipline your child from the age of 0 to 6, having the knowledge of temperament in mind. So let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Chidera, aka e.t.c. Yeah, because I actually believe there's an easy way to do life, especially parenting. So if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for joining the family. And if you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you. So today's topic is a very controversial one because there are a lot of information as regards to, should I spank my child or should I not spank my child? Is your child meant to be your friend and all that? So we're going to trash it out one after the other. Because the topic of discipline is a huge one, I'm not going to discuss all today in this video, because if it's long, you know, go watch them. I'll be making this one part 1, and we're going to talk about what is discipline, what is punishment, difference between discipline and punishment. Then we'll also talk about aims of discipline. What do you plan to achieve? Then we'll talk about when should I start disciplining my child. Then the next one we'll talk about how to discipline your child considering the 3 temperaments, which is the easy, the slow to warm, and the difficult temperaments. So let's define discipline. Discipline simply means to teach. Gotten from the word disciple, that means ability to teach your child the expected and the acceptable behavior. Let's talk about punishment. Punishment is a negative discipline. It entails the child receiving the consequences for his actions through beating, spanking, abuse, etc. Doesn't mean that punishment is not good. Just stick around with me, we'll talk about it in my next video. Let's talk about the difference between discipline and punishment. So discipline talks about helping the child make a better choice and sticking to it, while punishment is about making the child suffer for breaking the rules. The second difference between discipline and punishment is that discipline helps in teaching the child how to gain control, while punishment ends up raising a controlling child, a child you can control, a child you can use cane and flog and all that in order for the child to comply. There's this adage that when the purpose of a teen is not known, abuse is inevitable. So the 4 aims of discipline: 1, it helps modify your child's character. Then secondly, to protect your child's mental health. 3, to develop a relationship with you and your child. And 4, to aim in teaching. If what you are doing now doesn't hit this 4, better change it. When is the right time to discipline your child? Psychologically, your child starts responding to discipline at the age of 3. However, there are some subtle ways you can use to help your child to start catching up. For instance, at the age of 0 to 1 years, the child is still tender, trying to explore and understand the world. So one of the basic things you need to do is to help make the environment safer for your child. At the age of 1 to 2 years, the child is becoming more sensitive and alert to the environment. So at this point, you can make use of your facial expression, your voice tone, to the little way the child can understand. Because one thing is that at the age of 1 to 2 years, the child is still having what we call selective hearing. So somehow you be like, shoot, go, and the child listen, and the other time you like go, and the child is not understanding what you're saying. At the age of 2 to 3 years, the child is becoming more aware of his environment. However, this child is still developing. So one of the basic things you should do is to avoid too much rules. The child's brain capacity have not yet fully matured for him to catch up everything you're going to say. Then secondly, allow the child face the consequences. For instance, if you tell him, if you scatter your toys again, I will collect it and you're not going to have it. Don't think he's too small to understand. Then thirdly, you need to build a healthy and a strong relationship so that this child can be able to trust you in order to help this child become a better person. At this point, you need to also help them be in control by allowing them in some certain things to make choices while you provide the option. For instance, do you prefer to wear the yellow one or the green one? In such cases, it also helps them to grow their decision-making process. Just like I said earlier, at this point, you need to make your rules short and direct, even when you want to explain why they need to do what they need to do. At the age of 4 to 6, this is when there's an increase in the disciplinary process. However, let it be realistic, not having too much expectation. At this point, this is when you take out time to start explaining the need of a particular behavior. Why do they need to behave this particular way and not this way? And also know when you're passing limits. When it comes to disciplining a child, it's about the how. How do you talk to this child? Do you keep yelling at this child? So the next one, we're talking about how to discipline an easy temperament child. Because easy temperament child tend to be easy to handle, there is likelihood of being left behind or not being checked up on. So one of the things you need to do for the easy temperament child is regular checking and affirming this child. The second thing you need to do is you need to provide routine and structure. At this point, you need to teach this child time to time, because the age of 1 to 6 years is the time you need to inculcate the values you need to see in this child's life. Because as an easy child is easy to adapt, that is how he is easy to be influenced outside. So you need to teach him, and secondly, you need to provide routines for this child. The next one you need to do is role modeling. It starts from you. The child needs to see how coordinated you are. The child needs to see how you express yourself, even to the child and to others. Then the next one is avoid extreme. With an easy temperament child, avoid yelling at the child, because this child is already listening. Why shouting? Then the next thing is that provide opportunity to explore so they don't get bored. Because they are active, they have normal activity level, they will want to explore. So don't restrict this child, allow this child to explore as of when due. So let's talk about how to discipline a slow to warm child. Because the slow to warm child takes it easy on life and slowly adapt to things, you need to be patient with this child and avoid comparing, especially when you have multiple children in the house. Then secondly, create a favorable environment where the child can thrive. Provide routine for this child and stick to it. Next one is that you need to break tasks into simpler terms, because this child is laid back and cannot really catch up easily. You need to break the task into simpler terms in order for him to feel encouraged. Then the third thing you need to do, you need to encourage them more often. If there's a part they are doing well, you need to praise them so that they will also stick to it and know that I'm actually good in this particular one. And also correct them when necessary. Let's talk about how to discipline a strong-willed child. Now remember, no temperament is good, no temperament is bad. One, because the difficult child tends to have irregular activity, they have a very high risk of allowing the child to be. But don't do that. One of the things you need to do, you need to stick to the routine and be consistent. Not because the child is not eating or is not sleeping well, you now decide to let him be. No, you need to consistently stick, but this time around with love and patience. The second thing is that you need to help this child master his emotion. In mastering emotion, we talk about helping this child understand how to manage his emotion, because the strong-willed child is likely not to know how to control his emotion. So one of the basic things you need to do is to help this child manage his emotion well. Then the third thing you need to know is that you need to choose your battle wisely. Because this child pricks on everything, you need to know what is necessary. Is it important that I correct him on this, or I should just ignore? Then the next thing is focus on the feeling and not the action. Most times the strong-willed child acts up what they feel inside. So you need to calm down and check, is this child stressed? Is this child feeling enough attention and enough dose of love? Because when you focus on the action, you tend to see this child as a very stupid child, as a very difficult child, whereas this child is yearning for attention or is yearning for something. And the next thing you need to do is that you need to keep cool. Because this child already wants to get your attention. He can snap out and start misbehaving. Then you responding shows that despite it might even be response in anger, this child is already happy, because he feels that without his character he can still get your attention. So it's okay to neglect what he's doing so that he will know that he will not get attention by acting up that way. Then the next thing you need to do is that you need to accept your child. I think that's even the number one. You need to accept that this is my child. My child is a strong-willed child. That doesn't mean this child is bad, but this is his personality. So because I don't want to make this video extremely long, we'll be stopping here. So in the next video, we'll be talking about general tips on how to discipline children. We'll be talking about types of discipline. We'll be talking about should your child be your friend or not. So don't go away. And if you enjoyed today's video, please, it doesn't bite, click the subscribe button, like, comment and share. It also helps this channel grow. Thank you so much for sticking around with me, and bye.